I thought I put on a Star Wars shirt. I grabbed my shirts. They were always Star Wars shirts. They're all black with prints on them. And I grabbed this one instead. I'm like, I'll leave it on. I do matter. So I will keep this shirt on. Hi, welcome to the first actual recap episode of the Boba Fett Aftershow. Book of Boba Fett Aftershow here on JLJ Media. The Book of Boba Fett is on Disney Plus. I'm James Lott, your host. Normally I would have somebody next to me, a box next to me. His name is Ryan Nielsen. He couldn't make it for today's episode, but hopefully he'll make it on the next one, episode 2 and on. He's taking care of some business. During the holiday season, people got things going on. I shout out to Ryan Nielsen, my Star Wars cohort. We do the Mandalorian After Show, which is here on JLJ Media. And then I do another show called Darth Vader is Your Father, which is about all things Darth and Star Wars. So we do Star Wars content on this network. We love Star Wars. I've seen every Star Wars in the theater. So welcome to the show. I know you have many choices out there. What we have found with some of the other shows is that people go to all the other ones that are larger, and then they come to us. So welcome. How you get here, we're happy to have you here. Audio and video, everywhere you can find us. So Book of Boba Fett, I watched the first episode. I loved it. It was action. It was explanation. I like the way it was filmed. Disney Plus does a great job. Lucasfilms does a great job with every show they do gives us a total Star Warsian feel. And that's not a word, but make it a word. It just when they show it, we're on Tatooine again, of course, for this series. It feels like it. It's like you're there. The production is it's great. It's top notch. They do a great job. All the costumes, all the different tribes and peoples and monsters. I was like, that one monster with the 2 sets of arms. Ooh, it was gross. The Raiders, everybody, they do everything so it feels like part of the Star Wars universe. And I had to remind myself that this is actually the spin-off of The Mandalorian. Like, oh, that's right. Even though it's also kind of a continuation from the Star Wars films, but it's also a spin-off of a spin-off. And it's kind of funny because think about it. Boba Fett had 4 lines in Return of the Jedi, 6 minutes of screen time, and he became this iconic character. And one of the things we were all wondering was are they going to explain what happened? Because in The Mandalorian, he just showed up. We're like, oh, it's him. We're trying to figure out where'd he come from? Where'd he go? What happened all those years? So we'll get to all that. So Boba Fett's going to be 7 episodes on Wednesdays. There is this one was 39 minutes. It was written by Jon Favreau, directed by Robert Rodriguez. Stranger in a Strange Land was the title of the episode or chapter 1, I should say. Like Mandalorian does chapters, so chapter 1. Literally, I wrote down these words. I loved it. I'm invested. Lots of action. Pacing was good. And I also there was a good mix between the past catching us up and the present of what's going on right after Mandalorian. So we're getting 2 stories in one, and they go back and forth. It's really interesting how they did that. Because it's all about how he survived from Star Wars and him taking over Jabba the Hutt's criminal empire territories. Shout out to Jennifer Beals, who looks great. Go on, Jennifer Beals. I watched her on the L Word. So funny. So watch her on that. Tamora Morrison, of course, plays the lead character. He looked good. He's in his 60s, I believe, and he looks good. When he came out of that tank, and I was like, oh, okay. Tamora, you look hanging in there. I'll look half decent next year. I'm in my 50s. But he looks good. So he's hanging in there. Like that. Ming-Na Wen, we love her. She retweeted one of my things once. I want her on the show so bad. I'm a big fan of hers. So she plays Fennec, and she's kind of the sturdy, stern one. Yet there was humor. There was pieces of humor in some of the dialogue throughout the episode. So that was kind of fun, which is Star Wars does really well. So there's anything else I need to say on that one. Those are all those things there. Yeah. 39 minutes, went very fast. I took my notes. I want to make sure I catch the things on here. To my notes. So everybody's trying to figure out, did he survive being in a Sarlacc? So we actually show him in his water tank. He's getting his nutrients, getting himself redone. But we see that he's in the Sarlacc, inside the stomach. Oh, it's so gross looking. But he survived. He survived the fall. So he survived the fall. That's the whole thing. Clearly he did. But now we see how he actually, the journey. So I'm glad they're doing this. It's so smart. They're showing us the journey of him getting out, going through the stomach, and then the whole hand first coming out of the ground. I always love people do that. I mean, I love to do that. That he really clawed his way back to life, back to the world, but in the desert. And that desert, oh my goodness, the whole sequence of him getting picked up by Tusken Raiders, getting all this other stuff that was happening. It was just like the twin sons out there just beating down, and they're just dragging him along, making him walk at first. I mean, it's like, it just looks so torturous. I started to sweat just watching that sequence. I was like, oh my God, that would just totally suck. You just fought your way out of this creature, and then like now you are being taken and dragged across this hot desert. Oh, it's too much. So then let's see, make sure I get that link. They steal his armor. First, these sand crawling things steal his armor and all that stuff. So he's basically bare. He has a shirt on and some pants. But you can tell he looks dehydrated. Then also he gets to they go back to the future, back to present time, and people are presenting gifts for him as he's taking over and hoping to kind of say, welcome, we welcome you here for good faith. There are two of these creatures that worked for Jabba that apparently they just I guess they work for whoever they're loyal to. They kind of all of a sudden they weren't super loyal. Seemingly they're not super loyal to Jabba because Jabba's gone, but now they're loyal to him. Later on, they help him out in a fight sequence. We'll get to that later. There's also, they bring up a person, Doc Strassi, who was a Trandoshian leader that Fett worked for once. And Fett's like, wait a minute, I used to work for, this is kind of crazy. That'd be kind of weird. Fennec, I love Fennec, just like, and now you're the one in charge, basically. It's very interesting that we have somebody, which I always say is in Hollywood, watch who you step on your way to the top, because that person may be the person that may be in charge and stop and block your blessing and something later. That's a great thing there. Some humor when he actually offers him something, what was like, even when he's giving you a compliment, it sounds like a threat. Nice little humor. Nice little humor in there. Gamorrean guards. So yeah, the Gamorrean guards. And these little green creatures. But he decides to keep him, not kill him. And there's something interesting I caught. They say that this guy's like, okay, you need to torture them and show the territory that you are to demand respect. And it's something that Boba says later that I completely like. Jabba ruled with fear. He wants to rule with respect. He doesn't want to rule with fear. He wants to be a different type of leader. He doesn't want to, and that's something that I've dealt with in my years. Oh, this lighting's bad. This will be a little better. You might look Grogu back there. That I remember I was a manager at stores. There's some managers would say, you got to rule with fear. Just be mean on them. Tell them, sell. I'm like, no, I want to gain their respect, because I always feel like if I have their respect, then they'll want to work hard for me. That's kind of the point, right? If they like me on some level, not be a pushover, they like me on some level, and I'm showing them respect as workers or people underneath me, they'll want to do whatever I want. They'll want to help whatever the cause, or be loyal to me because I'm loyal to them and I'm treating them with respect. That's kind of, I get where Boba is coming from. He's like, Jabba was one kind. But it's funny because they wanted to go around and greet everybody and kind of see everyone. And it's funny because Jabba was, huge. He really left the compound. So that's kind of funny. And Jennifer Beals plays Madame Garsa Whip, provider of the sanctuary. So we got a taste of a little maybe place people go to, and makes life was very busy. And they had a hot guy and hot girl come up to wash their helmets. It's kind of funny. Came back with money, coin. But it was a very hot spot. But Jennifer Beals looked great. She looked great. It fits right into the universe. I loved it. and it's a cantina, so that's good. So one of the problems is automatically they leave, they're ready to go to some other places, they get ambushed. And these folks have these shields that are like electric, they're like very electricity like. They have these, and they also have these sticks that also have electricity at the ends. And they were just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And they're assassins. And the Gamorreans and Fenton, they all fight. I would tell you, this episode, period, between the future, the present, and the past. Oh my God, Boba Fett gets beat up so much. I was saying, first he's getting hit by the little raiders, or hitting him while he's tied up. He's been dragged, getting beat by monsters. I mean, like he just keeps getting beat up. I'm like, dang. No wonder at the end he was like worn out. I'm like, they just keep getting beat up. Just let me laugh. So they overpower these assassins. Fennec does actually capture one. He said alive, so he captures one. So they have that. Let's see what else. Make sure I guess. I want to make sure I get all these things in here. Now, who they were and who they were from. Remember, the mayor of this place didn't show up. His name is Maz Sheikh. I believe his name is, or Shades or something like that. The mayor didn't show up. He sent someone in his place. Boba was not happy about that. So I'm almost assuming was that part of his steed coming after them. So we already got some conflict happening, some kind of mysterious conflict happening. So we'll see kind of how that plays out. Do that. When he's tied up, he's also tied up with the Rodian, and this thing with these things with his hands. They're out to look for these water things out in the desert. You have to dig for them, and this is part of his journey of coming back to. We're finding out what happened with them, and it's so funny because he just gets smart mouth, and the Rodian always get upset, and then he's the guys digging, but they uncover a beast. Woo. And I'll make sure I get the. So it says Goro. I think it's the beast. Is that the beast? Yes. Yeah, it's a 4-armed monster. It was gross. Ooh. 4-armed monster, and the Rodians he's out of nowhere would be found, but Boba shows his strength because he's chained up and uses the chain to bring down this big beast. And so it just shows he's got his strength, he has ingenuity. Boba Fett is good. He was a bounty hunter, so he's good. So it's great. And let's see, what's the next thing I'm gonna say there? It's hard to do shows by yourself because usually somebody's with you, you actually have a good time, go back and forth. But I just want to say, when the guy Tusken Raider brings him back to the village with the head of this beast, it makes that guy look, something big, and it becomes like a sign of respect, and he gets to leave, and he hands him a water because he didn't have any water before. I just think this series does a great job with telling both stories of where he is, where he's from, how they filling in the gaps, and the current situation. He ends up back in the water chamber at the end also, after what he went through. And I could tell so far already, there's going to be a really great series of emotion and action, and a little bit of humor. You know what to expect. Again, Boba Fett was a side character. Why does he deserve his own series? I think being a Mandalorian helped solidify why he should have his own series. And so far, I'm for it. So far, I said I believe it. I'm in it. I think it's going to be good. And as I read something, some people were saying this series is very low key, and I'm like, I don't think it was low key. I really don't think it was low key. I feel like it gave us stuff, gave us Easter eggs, it gave us things. So you go ahead and watch that. And I should say spoiler. I didn't even say in the beginning. This is spoiler. I'll put it in the description. This is spoilers if you want to watch it yet. But they gave us a nice Star Wars story in 39 minutes, or a little less than that. I'll just give the credits. but it gave us a nice story to set off this book of Boba Fett. That's why it's chapter 1. I'd like to think it's a good beginning. I think it's a good beginning. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with next. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. So we'll be here either Wednesday nights or Thursdays, one of the two, right afterwards, talking about the show. I'm very excited. Now I'm very excited. Now it's funny seeing this, watching Mandalorian. I watched Bad Batch. Now I'm excited to see the other series and how different or the same they will be in terms of look and scope and storytelling. This one literally has actually made me go, okay, now I want to see Ahsoka. Now I want to see Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm very excited to see how these series all play out because, again, there's lots of books out there which have been decanonized. Boba Fett's in a bunch of things. That's all like that. That's just the books now. Now they're starting a story, and they're really going to, and hopefully they're going to tell us a great story in 7 episodes. Very curious. I'm James Lott Jr., and we'll see you next time.